Tonight on Top Story, NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia cited for acts of dictatorship threatening the unity of the party barely a month into its second term.
For once, must get this right, that the party is not run on his head. The party is run with a constitution. It's a bad decision. It's a bad decision for the party. It's a bad decision, and the people of WIM will be the ones that will decide.
A party elder seeks answers as a member of drafters of the NDC's constitution joins us to examine the basis for denying Kofi Adams the chance to pursue his dream to be MP on the ticket of the NDC. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services, your success, our passion. Belacqua Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water. Blue Rose Limited, Shelter for All. Lifebuoy Soap protects you, 100% gem protection, as well as myjoyonline.com. My name is Francis Aben. It's looking pretty much like a duel between two men who once worked together. A seeming personal vendetta has led to one of the major political parties attracting negative heat. Kofi Adams, who has expressed his intention to contest the now vacant Buem seat as MP, has his hopes dashed when the General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia announced he might have to shelve that hope. Shortly, we'll be bringing you the sound clip of the NDC General Secretary. But Kofi Adams is accusing the General Secretary of single-handedly masterminding his disqualification. Let's first hear from the General Secretary of the NDC. Well, we'll be bringing you shortly that soundbite from the General Secretary. But Joy News has learned the disciplinary committee of the party is yet to submit a report that will determine whether or not Kofi Adams is guilty of acts that sought to bring the NDC into disrepute. Party elder Ken Jirasa told Joy News the ensuing feud is ugly for the party that just won a second-term bid. We'll also be bringing you that excerpt of Ken Jirasa, but we are now joined on the line by Inusa Fuseni to find out what really are the stakes for Kofi Adams as per the law that regulates the party. Many thanks for joining us this evening on Top Story. First, I want to find out with what Kofi Adams is faced with. What does the Constitution spell out as regards the eligibility of a party member to contest an election vis-a-vis party discipline?
Thank you so very much for this opportunity, and good evening to your listeners. The party's constitution and the matters that have come before the party's disciplinary committee regarding the eligibility of the suspended Deputy General Secretary Kofi Adams in contesting the WIM seat is a matter that borders on allegations that were made against him in connection with a tape that was discovered so many months ago. The matter was referred to the disciplinary committee of the party for investigation and report. Now, subsequent to the referral of the matter to the disciplinary committee, my understanding is that Mr. Kofi Adams initiated an action in court to sort of vindicate his rights. He thought that he had been hard done by the referral of the matter to the disciplinary committee. The matter stayed in court until the 10th day of January this year, and that was when the matter was withdrawn from court by Mr. Kofi Adams, ostensibly to bring the matter to a close and to allow him to contest the Buem seat. But as it stands, under the NDC constitution, the matters that were raised against Mr. Kofi Adams were matters of grievous nature. The only way that Kofi Adams can be exonerated from the matters that were raised against him was for him to have appeared before the disciplinary committee.
Hold on for me, Mr. Inusa Fuseni, briefly, because I now have the soundbites of exactly what the General Secretary told us earlier on as regards the explanation for Kofi Adams' bid not to contest the Buem seat with regards to the meeting that happened yesterday. Let's briefly listen to him.
He's facing disciplinary proceedings. Because of that, he's on suspension and all his rights have been extinguished temporarily. So after we get to the end of the disciplinary proceedings, then there will be a decision as to whether he should be reinstated or he should suffer some punishment or he should suffer reprimand or whatever. There are a range of punishments that are available in our Constitution.
When do you plan concluding on the investigations that the party started conducting some months ago?
According to our party's constitution, when there is a complaint that a member has breached the disciplinary code, the person can be suspended and the matter referred to the disciplinary committee. That was what was done in the case of Kofi Adams. There is a term limit after which, if the matter has not been dealt with, then the whole disciplinary proceedings are extinguished and then the member regains his original status. But this clause was put there with a purpose to prevent National Executive from punishing members of the party unnecessarily. In the case of Kofi Adams, the matter was expeditiously proceeding until he went to court. And since the national constitution is superior to the NDC constitution, once there is a matter pending before our disciplinary committee and the matter is sent to a high court, then everything is halted at the level of the disciplinary committee pending the outcome of the court process.
General, if I'm getting you right, the matter has come to a halt because he took the party to court.
Right, yes. And so the matter remained in court till 10th of January when Mr. Kofi Adams decided to withdraw the matter. That was after the death of Ford Kamel. We want to believe that he had an intention of contesting in the by-election. That's why he rushed to withdraw the matter. Be that as it may, it doesn't spoil anything. There is nothing wrong with ambition. But the point is that having removed the court matter, you have now paved the way for the disciplinary committee to proceed with their work. So what he needs to do is to go and face the disciplinary committee, and then when the report is produced and accepted by the National Executive Committee, we can act on the report, and following that, we will be guided as to whether he should be reinstated or not.
And that was the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, in that interview with my colleague, Seth Kwame Boateng. I still have with me Inusah Fuseni on the line. So you were telling us exactly the steps we go to. Listening to the General Secretary, he does explain that there are some issues that are yet to be ironed out. The disciplinary committee is yet to lay that report to determine the fate of Kofi Adams in that particular issue. But again, there have been suggestions that if this report is yet to be laid before the National Executive Committee, why then has a determination been made on his bid to contest for the Buem seat?
Well, the matter, as I understand it, is that until the disciplinary committee of the party brings a report before the National Executive Committee of the party for consideration, Kofi Adams cannot contest the Buem seat because he is on suspension. I think that what Kofi Adams should do presently is to quickly submit himself to the disciplinary committee for the matter to be investigated into and a report submitted to the National Executive Committee. I believe that if he takes steps and expeditious steps to ensure that he is exonerated from the allegations made against him, he might still have the opportunity to contest the Buem seat.
Mr. Fuseni, listening to the commentary and listening to Kofi Adams earlier today on what he made of the determination that was made over his fate to contest the Buem seat, he was bitter. He thought the General Secretary has a certain personal vendetta with him and is carrying out a certain kind of dictatorial action against him. Listening to him, does this seeming feud not spoil the image of the NDC, even in the light of the public?
Well, I do not know of any feud between Mr. Kofi Adam and the General Secretary of the party. I'm not privy to any. I'm not a member of the National Executive Committee. I might not know. But what I'm saying is that these are institutions within the party. The disciplinary committee is one such institution within the party to resolve issues, complaints that come before the party, bordering on conduct of members. We have to respect that institution. And there is a procedure to go through if a complaint is brought against you as a member of the party. Speaking for myself, I have presided over complaints made against members of the party by other members as a disciplinary committee member of the party. And so let's not forget that, yes, it might be expedient to allow Kofi Adam to realize his ambition of contesting in the Buem constituency on the ticket of the party. But the truth is that because there are institutional mechanisms that he has to go through to exonerate and clear his name, let's encourage him first to do so and not to rely on emotion and get this matter muddled up.
Questions have been raised, Inusah Hussaini, about the president before the elections, raising a key concern that all unresolved issues within the party that have the tendency to actually break the front of the party should be dealt with internally and quickly, so you have a united front. With this issue that is staring you in the face right now, some suggested truths. What really should be done critically beyond Kofi Adams going through the process?
If I were advising Kofi Adam, I would tell him to move heaven and earth to have the disciplinary committee constituted for his matter to be looked into. Mind you, the president said that matters that bordered on subject matter of this nature must be expeditiously dealt with, not ignored. And so the party will have to move quickly to settle all matters of conflict or differences between members of the party to be able to get the united front.
Finally, we had word from the Buem seat. Yes. Mr. Hussaini, finally, we had word from the Buem constituency that suggested that indeed some supporters of Kofi Adams are really not happy about the decision, and some are advising him to even go independent. Would that be a prudent decision for him to take?
Well, I think that a prudent decision for him to take in this matter is to carefully examine the time limits he has, and then either subject himself to the procedures so laid out by the constitution of the party or bite the bullet.
All right, many thanks to you, Inusah Hussaini, for joining us here on Top Story. Earlier when I told you about party elder Ken Jirasa telling us about that the ensuing feud is ugly, and for the party that just won a second bid, this is not good for them. Let's now listen to him and find out what advice he prefers with this issue that is staring the NDC in the face.
We certainly are making certain recommendations as to the solution to the problem. And, I cannot disclose this information on there.
So obviously you cannot disclose this information on it, like you said. So you put in this report before NEC for approval or otherwise?
Yes, for their consideration.
And up until that is done, you cannot contest the Buem constituency seat as a member of the party. Is that correct?
I don't know whether this is really tied up entirely with the elections that are upcoming. That is a matter entirely for the National Executive Committee. If our report would help accelerate the process, we'll be very grateful to push it fast.
Yeah, but your committee met on the allegations that it was captured on table working against the interests of the president, the late president, and to some extent the party as well.
Yes, we met. We met. We held certain preliminary meetings and met with would-be witnesses, and we have an interim report which we intend presenting to the National Executive Committee.
So obviously the issues that you raised in the meeting that you had with him with respect to allegations are basically the same issues that have come up again that appear to be stalling his attempt to contest the Buem seat.
It's difficult for me to say exactly what the decision or the discussions at the National Executive Committee level are. What I can tell you for certain is that we are almost through with our report, and we intend presenting the report very soon. If that goes to facilitate a decision whether for or against Kofi Adams, well, we would have ended our responsibilities and assignments.
As an elder in the party, when you sit back and you hear Kofi Adams and Seydou Nketia battle, I mean, how does it make you feel?
That is an issue in respect of which you are eliciting my personal opinion.
Precisely so.
Yes. Now, I am a pacifist by nature. And being a pacifist, any act or tendency that would create disaffection within the party is something that we must try and heal as fast as possible. That's the way I look at the entire subject.
So obviously you're going to call for a truce on your personal level.
You still want me to tell you the contents of our report. I'm very sorry to disappoint.
And you heard Ken Jirasa, former Deputy Speaker of Parliament and a member of the National Democratic Congress. And that's all for Top Story this evening. My name is Francis Alban. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services, your success, our passion, the Laco Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water, Blue Rose Limited, Shelter for All, Lifebuoy Soap 100% gem protection, as well as myjoyonline.com.